So I have made this type of video before. However, at the time, I was pretty shitty at video editing, and I knew I had seen way less anime high for sure. So I feel like now I can make like the ultimate list, right? The ultimate resource to go to find some anime when you're smoking along or whatever. However, this was gonna be different. Instead of just being 10, right? It's gonna be way more than 10, and it's gonna be split into two parts. First part is gonna be slice of life anime. More peaceful shit. There's gonna be some comedy in there too, maybe some romance. But it's slice of life, right? Shit's somewhat grounded for the most part. Not too much action. The second part is gonna be action anime. Heavy action anime. Also, might have some comedy and romance sprinkled in there too. But for the most part, it's for those people who like action-heavy anime. So yeah, see you guys on the other side. So if you want an anime, just to chill, have a few laughs, possibly with some friends, while you smoke along, this is definitely the anime to do that shit with. It's a school show, but it's kind of like that over-the-top humor, like explosions, fucking random fucking wrestling moves, it's crazy shit, right? Like random slow motion sequences. It's like that type of anime. If you're looking for like some over-the-top humor, this anime definitely delivers. One of the best, in my opinion, comedy-wise at least. Definitely watch this shit. This one's more of a chill, through more traditional slice of life for sure. It's about like this company that is making anime practically. It's really insightful, in the world of anime creation and shit like that. I learned a bit, but it's also it's funny. It's nice to like follow the characters' lives, I guess. And if you've ever seen like a good slice of life, this is practically that. You really get attached to the characters and shit. And the setting is interesting enough, for anyone who's seen a shit ton of slice of life, they won't feel like, oh shit, I've seen this a billion times or whatever. And yeah, it's a really good anime. The disastrous life of Saiki K is pretty much fourth wall breaking to the nth degree, It features overpowered main character, going through his daily school life or whatever. It's funny as fuck, right? It's the funniest school anime I've seen for sure, besides probably Nichijou, as I mentioned above. But yeah, it's definitely well worth your time, It's on Netflix, which makes it even easier to watch. There is a dub, although it doesn't, the last 2 episodes don't have a dub yet. But it's still well worth your time, for sure. If you're one to appreciate some fucking wholesome shit, this is definitely the anime for you. It follows these like girls in this city of Venice, right? Well, it's not actual Venice. It's like a city made to look like Venice, up like in another planet. It has some sci-fi elements, some fantasy elements as well. But the main draw is just like these wholesome stories, that always have a happy ending and shit. And they just make you feel good, you know what I mean? This is the type of anime to do that. And I feel like, when you're stoned as shit, like, you're just like, damn, like, it just makes you feel good, practically. This is the anime for you if you're looking for a quick pick-me-up, if anything. shit ton on the wholesomeness. This one is about early 20-something, going from place to place on his bike, switching jobs everywhere he goes. Just going all around Japan practically just to learn about life, right? And while yes, that shit sounds like it's gonna be deep and shit, it's an ecchi show, right? It has a shit ton of fan service. You probably have to be prepared for that for sure. But it still manages to be deep at times, right? It still manages to have some pretty good like life lessons, I guess, right? They're just like shit that you can relate to pretty easily, right? Especially if you're like around the age of the main character, right? You really relate to him for sure. It's definitely a show for that type of person. And if you're high, it helps you experience the comedy better for sure, because it is a funny ass show. Even looking past like the fan service and shit, although adding the fan service is pretty funny too. Although some scenes are like, what the fuck, you'll probably know. There's one at the beginning for sure. But yeah, it's that type of show. If it seems like it's something that appeals to you, you're definitely going to enjoy it. But if not, I definitely understand. Now to our one and only romance show on the list. This one follows a 30-year-old, she quits her job in hopes, of just being a NEET practically. She gets back into, cause she used to be like an MMO fucking addict, right? So she gets back into fucking MMOs and just like plays it all day, right? She's playing like a guy character in it, right? So she meets a girl character in the show, and they practically just form a friendship, right? And you get to see that friendship develop into something more, right? Practically, that's what I'm gonna say. Not spoiling too much, I guess. Even though, like, it's a pretty predictable show, but it's wholesome. It's wholesome romance. That's funny. Practically, if you're looking for that while you're high, this is definitely a show to do it to. The visuals are pretty good. They're alright. It's a new show. So yeah, it's for those people, You'll know if this show appeals to you for sure. Genshiken is more coming back to the more traditional slice of life, the type of slice of life where not much happens story-wise, but you follow like these characters like in their daily lives practically growing as human beings, you know what I mean? It's that type of show. You definitely get a bit more movement, because more than being about the characters, this show is a lot more about the club, right? Because you do see a lot of characters come in and out throughout its many seasons, I haven't finished it yet, technically. I've only seen the first 2 seasons, which I really love those characters, right? Because by the 3rd season, they have like way different cast and a way different art style too, because it's so much newer. But I know it's worth it, I'm just waiting for me to get more adjusted to the character design. But other than that, it's a great show to just like smoke and just chill, lay back, get some otaku references here and there, because you don't even need to be that hardcore, right? Because it does go more into the hardcore otaku, shit like they constantly talk about anime, on like a deeper level. They build models, they have fucking figurines and shit like that, posters everywhere. Like, you don't need to be at that level, even though they are, right, to kind of relate to them. But yeah, it's an interesting watch, if anything. More pure slice of life with, adult characters. The Tatami Galaxy is another college one, this time following a guy trying to find his perfect campus life, right, as he likes to see it. Practically have everything go right for him, right, but he fails every time. Every episode, right, is another failure practically. It's a pretty creative way to tell a story like that. I really enjoyed it, right? I was high during the whole thing, obviously. But do be warned that the subtitles, right? Because the dude talks fucking fast, right? Like, the closest type of character I could think of, if you've ever seen, like, The Social Network, right? How fucking Zuckerberg is portrayed in that movie. That type of character, right? The type of character that just, like, fucking rambles on his head, right? About shit. And, like, you practically have to keep up with him while reading. And that, you know, takes some training. You know, it took some training for me. Probably by the third episode, I was pretty much used to it, you know. It made me a better reader, honestly, of subtitles, if anything. So yeah, do be warned about that. If you're not the type to read subtitles while high, this is definitely not for you. But, you know, if you are, right, and you're willing to just put in a bit of extra time, I feel like you'll definitely connect with the story way more while stoned, for sure. Great Teacher Onizuka follows a guy, ex-delinquent, right, trying to become a teacher. It's a pretty, I guess, common trope throughout, you know, just storytelling in general. But I like how GTO does it. It's like, it's the perfect example of it, right? Because it manages to keep it, like, lighthearted, right? Because it's funny as shit, right? A lot of the moments are hilarious for sure. While also, right, manages to, like, have a new take on the whole anime school genre, right? Like, nowadays school anime, right, have, like, the student drama just be the whole primary thing, right? But by having the teacher's point of view, it helps me connect with it better, you know what I mean? Because personally, I'm just tired of school drama and shit like that. So this show, this new view on it, right, helps me, like, just have a fresh take, right? Like, I could bear with it the few times that it's there. And when it's not, it's usually focusing on the teacher's problems, which has, like, a whole new take, right, that anime doesn't usually do. So yeah, that's why I like it. You'll know if it sounds interesting enough to you. But, you know, if it doesn't, I'd say even give it a try, because there is a lot of action and shit in it. And, like, the comedy is over the top a lot of the times. It manages to be a little cartoony, right? So I feel like you could get into it, even if you're not the type of person who usually get into school dramas and shit like that. But yeah. So this one follows quintuplets, right, as they practically go through their adventures in life, being neats. It's over the top in some ways, right, type of comedy. It's a bit more grounded than Nichijou maybe, but, you know, that's not saying much. But it's still fucking hilarious, right? It's just pure comedy show if you're looking for that when you're high. Fortunately, there's no dub, but I feel like, you know, the subs are good enough where if you're just fucking stoned out of it, you know, you still probably pay attention to it, no problem. Yeah, it's also really good looking. You know, it's a sequel to, like, an 80s kids show, so, you know, the style definitely does not look like a lot of anime right nowadays. I mean, if you could see that. It's an interesting style for sure, which, you know, I like. It's a plus for me. But yeah. Samurai Champloo is literally like the perfect anime to watch while high, right? If you're not gonna watch anything else on this list, right, definitely watch this one. Even the one that's gonna come after this one, right? Even though they're so similar, but this one, in my opinion, is the perfect one to watch while high. The animation is amazing, right? The action is fucking dope. The music, dude, goddamn. Nujabes, right? If you haven't heard about Nujabes, right, fucking search him up on the YouTube search bar right now, right? Listen to one of his tunes. Fucking, the man was a genius, right? He made most of the music, right, for this anime. It's so amazing. Like, fuck, you know, you just gotta listen to one of his tunes to know what I'm saying. The stories, you know, they're dope. They're like mature, right? They remind you somewhat of like something of like an action movie of Hollywood, you know what I mean? Because there's shit like, you know, drug related problems, stuff like that, you know, like prostitution, shit like that, you know, is thrown in. You know, like, it feels mature. Definitely not an anime that comes out like nowadays too often, you know what I mean? Definitely a reason why it made it bigger in the West than it did in Japan. Perfect anime to watch while high, honestly. And it's also, the comedy is fucking hilarious, right? It manages to like still feel anime. So it's a perfect mix, right? It's like the perfect high anime for sure. And the dub is guaranteed amazing for me too. Watch this shit for sure. Cowboy Bebop, pretty much fucking the original Samurai Champloo, I guess. The difference is, right, it's, instead of being more like hip hop focused in the music, right, it's more jazz, I guess, right? And the story, I guess, somewhat reflects the jazz, right? It's more laid back, right? It uses comedy way less often, even though there's still a lot of comedy in it, right? It feels like the stories are more serious, right? They usually end in darker notes a lot of the time. It's shit like that, right? But it's still episodic, you know, and it's still a great anime to watch while high still, because it still, you know, takes back to a lot of like Hollywood type shit, you know, a lot of Western influences in it. If you're one to enjoy fucking action movie, right, like a good Tarantino film or some shit like that, you know, you'll probably enjoy Cowboy Bebop as well. It's that type of movie, you know. If you like to fucking puff along to something like that, you'll definitely enjoy Cowboy Bebop for sure. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, you know, it doesn't really need much explanation to be on this list, to be honest. It's pretty much, you know, the top rated anime out there, you know, at least in my anime list. It's a great anime, you know, it's the perfect example of an action anime. It follows these two, well, at the beginning they're boys, you know, and you see them grow up and shit. But it follows, you know, them trying to get their life back to normal after fucking up an experiment of theirs, right? Because this is all about alchemy, right? And the alchemy is dope because it's an original take on it, you know? It's this thing called the law of equivalent exchange, right? And that principle makes this anime be quite unique from other, like, magic anime out there, you know what I mean? It feels more grounded for sure. It deals with a lot of mature themes and shit like that at times, but it still feels like a good, wholesome comedy action anime, you know what I mean? In like the vein of something like Dragon Ball or something like that, you know, but just not quite as hardcore, because I said it's more grounded and shit. But it's definitely a great anime to watch. I recommend it fully. Outlaw Star is for those people that really enjoy a good 90s anime, right? Action heavy, you know, comedy heavy, manages to feel kind of like a mature Saturday morning cartoon, right? Somewhat like that. If you've seen an anime like that, you probably know what I'm talking about. Outlaw Star is definitely a perfect anime to watch while high if you're looking for a like comedy heavy type show, right? Definitely way comedy heavy than like something like Cowboy Bebop, right? Like I just said before. Like this is actual comedy for sure. If you're not looking for anything like too serious, but all while still looking for like a involved story, right? This is definitely the anime for you. Log Horizon is like one of the better isekai anime. If you're looking for like something comedy heavy, right, while also taking itself seriously enough, right, to build like good lore around the world, right, and like good uses of that lore, you know what I mean? This is definitely the anime for you. Way more laid back, right? It feels perfect if you're just like stoned and you just want to see something modern that's fucking funny, but you know you want like some good action as well thrown in there. It's a perfect case, right? I really wish there was a season 3. Really wish there was a season 3, but there isn't. So that's the only gripe I have with this show. So Megalobox is sort of that classic underdog story, you know what I mean? Same vein as Rocky. If you're looking for a good boxing anime, this is definitely it. You know, it's short, sadly, but I think it works in its favor. You know, you really get into the characters and shit like that, and into this futuristic world. You know, it's a great anime to watch while high. Again, if you're the type to enjoy like a good Hollywood fucking action movie, you'll definitely enjoy this one for sure. Rage of Bahamut was a pretty pleasant surprise for me. You know, I had no idea when I first watched it what it was going to be about. I hadn't heard about it or anything, but I really liked it by the time I finished it. The main character, you know, is funny as fuck. He reminds me of something, you know, that would come out in like Samurai Champloo or Cowboy Bebop, you know what I mean? You know, there's magic and shit. I like the world. It's based on a card game, you know, so it's like a bunch of magic and shit like that. I really enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. If you're looking for something like that, like a good action, magic, fantasy type thing, this is definitely a show to watch. It's only 12 episodes. I have seen a bit of the second season. It didn't draw me in as well, you know, as much. I haven't finished it yet. But yeah, the first season is definitely well worth your time. If you're looking for like a trigger anime, right? Practically what they're known for, the fucking crazy ass over the top fucking stories and shit, the great like colorful art styles and shit like that. This is definitely the anime to watch, right? Gurren Lagann is fucking amazing. Has great characters. The story is engaging and shit. It's Trigger at its best, right? And if that's what you're looking for, this is definitely the anime to watch, you know, whether you're high or not, to be honest. Best way to summarize Black Lagoon is Japanese, you know, office worker gets stuck in like hardcore action Hollywood movie. Like, that's practically it, you know what I mean? A lot of the scenes and shit remind you literally of something that you would see in like the latest action Hollywood blockbuster, you know what I mean? It's that type of shit, that type of like gunplay and shit, but it's engaging, right, in anime form. It does a lot of shit different, you know, don't get me wrong. The incorporation of the Japanese office worker, you know, works really well. It's a really good anime, you know, it's one of my favorites personally. I really like it, the action and shit like that, over the top. Definitely something that is really great while watching with friends and shit and just smoking a bowl. It's that type of anime, you know what I mean? Trigun manages to feel like a Saturday morning cartoon type thing, you know. For sure, during the later episodes, it feels much more mature. But at the beginning, it really is just comedy. That you just chill back, right? It's just chill back comedy, you know. Definitely great for when you're just stoned, you know, just out of your mind, just looking for something to just relax to, you know. It's that type of comedy. It's funny. The main character is kind of like Batman in the way that he doesn't like to kill and shit like that, which makes it even more wholesome in a lot of ways. However, it does explore that thing, so not to give away too much spoilers or whatever. And as I say, you know, towards the later episodes, it does become more mature. But yeah, if it sounds interesting to you, I feel like you'll definitely enjoy it for sure. Thank you so much for making it to the end, guys. If you like this video, you already know what to do. Leave a like down there, you know, subscribe, hit that bell icon, you know, usual shit. But yeah, here's hoping this also becomes a runaway success, you know. But if it doesn't, I still enjoyed making it, you know, and I hope that you guys got something out of it.